things that I've learned in IDN is that not only about ITs, in IT it was the main point of what I learned in IDN. But there's also a ton of things. As humans, we need to social. We need to socialize with someone. We need to talk to someone. We need to have friends. Back in the day before I was in IDN, I was actually a really introverted person. I don't really like to communicate with my friends or even with my neighbors. I don't really communicate that much. But since I was in IDN, I finally be able to socialize with other peoples and communicate with them. Even there's also tons of problems, like I was getting bullied, but I can deal with it. And yep, also about the ITs, I also learned tons of things. I learned how to make games. I learned how do I make programs in Python. I also learned how do I make designs in Illustrator. And I also learned on how do I make Android applications, some kind of scratch, but using MIT App Inventor.
IT lesson until I can make my own game in scratch, my own design. I make it with CorelDRAW and Adobe Illustrator, and I make my own video for AdSense in my YouTube channel.
So what I get in IDN Boarding School. So for the lesson, I get three lesson in IDN Boarding School. I get religion lesson, English lesson, and IT lesson. So maybe for the IT lesson, I get like how to make a game with a scratch, how to make an application with an MIT App Inventor, and how to make a design with any tool design that or software design, and how to make Internet of Things or IoT or maybe robot. So for the English lesson, uh, especially I just like conversation and learning anything from the internet, so I can achieve new lesson in IDM Boarding School.
In IDN Boarding School, I got so many lessons from in IT lesson, like making game. Okay, the first one is making game, like a scratch game. So I got experience from making a game from scratch, like a drag and drop code, and the code is so variable, so many colors, so you can understand from the codes for making game scratch. Okay, the still making game, so not just scratch. I'm making game from Unity to Unity 3D. So I making games like RPG 2D in Unity.
In IDN, I learned about networking and system administration. In the networking, you will learn about MikroTik and Cisco. In the MikroTik, you will be learn about MTCNA and MTCRE. And the MTCNA is the basic, and then the MTCRE is more advanced than MTCNA. And then if you good at your report in the school, you will be chosen to the boot camp, which is it's very expensive at IDN. So it's a great opportunity. And then in the Linux or system administration, I learned about Red Hat, I learned about Ubuntu, OpenStack, and many other new technology.
I learned a lot of it. For example, I learned about networking for the first time in here. I also learned about other OS from here. And during my internship, I got a little basic programming knowledge. And I once made a simple programs using Python, HTML, and CSS.
I learned a lot at IDN, such as MikroTik and CCNA and MTCRA, Cisco, CCNA and CCNP, Red Hat Server, and many more. Not only learning about networking, but I also learned how we social in the outside world.
Our how to achieve assignment or deadlines, to learn about English, IT, and Diniyah.
In IDN, I learned about many lessons.
including programming, because the programming is the main thing that we learn in IDN. In the programming section, we learn about many programming language, such as Java, Swift, and Kotlin, and actually many more learning language. And in this semester, I learned about Kotlin programming language. I learned programming language to make an application, but actually not a game. It's an actual application, such like a mobile banking application or some service center application, like that, an actual application. And because this is an Islamic boarding school, we learn about the religious studies too, like daily Quran memorizing in dusk and evening, and other Diniyah lessons such as fiqh, sirah, and others.
Teach of people other about fiber optic and useful to everyone, and so that people can be have network connection in stable area even if the distance are far away.
A lesson networking that benefit for me, like I teach other people and useful for everyone. When at the village, the people can connection internet, even though their home it's far enough. The benefit of the lesson that I learned in this school is solving some problem. If there's some people that having problems, I will try to figure the problem, and try to solve the problem with my ability, my skill that I learned in this school.
Useful for me and useful for other people because I want to share my knowledge I have learned.
So apparently the certificate that I've got here, there's actually 3 certificates. And the first one was the English competition one in Putra Pakuan Bogor. It was the tingkat kabupaten. It was a speech competition. It's which contest, which I actually won in the first place. And I got a certificate and from a PNG picture. And the second one is the hackathon, which I alhamdulillah won recently, even though it was only the 4th rank. And I'm actually kind of proud of it. And I have that certificate in the form of PDF. And the last one, which I don't know when will I got it, but it was a guard hack certificate, which I never given right now. I don't know. I'm still waiting for now.
HTML certificate from Learn because I learn from there too.
For the certificate, I get a certificate from competition, design competition in Universitas 11 Maret.
Okay, when I learning in IDN Boarding School, I got 2 certificates from this school. The first one is scratch, making a game scratch, like for like the like Islamic game scratch, like that. I make a quiz game, like basically just quiz game. But then the next I have I have another one certificate from decoding.
In IDN, I got 4 certification. The first one is MTCNA. There is a basic about microtik, and then there is the MTCRE. It's about routing, and then there is a MTCTCE. It's about a traffic control. It's like your control your bandwidth, and then the last one I got there is a MTCINE. It's a big scale of the network is the last, and it's about the internet networking.
While I studying at IDN, I have 3 certification of MTSNA, MTSRE, and MTSTCE.
About the certificate, I already earned some certificate while I'm studying in IDN boarding school. Some of the certificate is programming based, and some other is English based certificate, and Diniyah certificate.
I have certificate like SQL and Android beginner and HTML.
So the creation that I've made in IDN, there's two games, the best games, and one application that I made in IDN. Even though there's tons of games and tons of application, I'm gonna tell you the top three best. So the first game, which was Astral Dreamer Undertale Fight. So basically, this game is actually a recreation of the Undertale game, which was a final boss battle if you win the Pacific Fun ending. But in this case, Undertale was made originally in Game Maker Studio, but for me, fully recreated it using Scratch Desktop, which is really out of context. And the game is about strategy and testing the movement of the players. So the game was like there's an enemy and he will attempt to fight you, and you must try to not get hit by the monster because you only have 20 health from a boss battle. And the second game was actually the Pandemic Control. It was a yet another recreation game of Five Nights at Freddy's. If you ever heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, but in this case, I'm copying the Funtime Foxy minigame from Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location minigame. So basically, this game was meant for actually another strategy game. So at this game, there's a monster. You are in the dark room, and you must go straight into the control panel room, into the control room. But the thing is that the monster is really sensitive to sounds, and when you walk, there's footsteps. So what can you do so that the monster won't go and catch you or and kill you? So of course you need patience. And the application one is that I have already published it into Google Play Store, which was Jama Muslim. Yet another copy of Muslim Pro and some kind of like others Muslim applications. But in this case, I make it using MIT App Inventor. And this application, well, yeah, the same as the other usual Muslim application, reading Quran or Azan schedule and forums, well, something like that.
So for the project, I I'm gonna present an IoT project that I make with IoT and Tinga.io. So I mixed the IoT and Tinga.io. So what is the use that project? So that's a smart home that IoT and Tinga.io that for water plant system, or maybe like with soil moisture, it can watering automatic.
Project it's like a video to promote IDN Boarding School to everybody, to everyone in the whole world, to make everybody knows about IDN because IDN is a great school.
So my project is game Scratch, and it called soccer game. I made a game about like a simple soccer game in Scratch. The the story is like you use your arrow keys to play with your friend.
And the project I have is like UX and doors, a 3D house, poster, banner, such as like that.
In IDN, I have a great two book. There is about MTCME and MTCRE. I think that book will be useful for many people, and then our school will give our book to other school who need it.
I have four creation in book about Cisco CCNA, Cisco CCNP, Superlab Cisco CCNA, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. My creation all of about networking.
During my lesson here, I made two books as a graduation requirement for semester 1, MTCNA and MTCRA books. The use of this book, because I think I can translate the difficult language the teacher use when teaching. So I made a book using a simple language so that beginners can understand what I mean.
I have made a lot of many application and game. One of the application like COVID-19 apps useful for count um, to count and monitoring the patient COVID-19.
For the project that I already do while I am in IDN is actually just a project when I was intern. And I have listed the project that I already worked on in internship program. The first one is the Gen Pro application. The second one is Raja Ampat application, and some other is actually just a mock-up. The mock-up name, the project name of the mock-up is I forget the name. Sorry. But actually, there's another project that I work on outside the intern. The client is an actual client, and the name is Emergency Button. For the Gun Pro project is actually a business project, which you can actually sell what are you doing, sell your things in there. In Raja Ampat, there's like I said before, it's a service center application, which is you can actually get a support service like emergency number, reporting features, like that, like I said before. And for the emergency button, it's actually a simple application that will inform the other user that there's actually an emergency things when people click the emergency button.
The challenges that I have from making all the project is of course the time. Yes, the time, literally the time. Because when I was making the Ezra Dreamer project, which was the fully recreation project, is that I only have a week, to recreate an entire boss fight originated in GameMaker Studio and remake it in Scratch Desktop. Well, of course, if the original game took like 1 year to finish that whole game, and I only get 2 days, hey, wait, 1 week to finish one boss battle, well, you see how difficult it is.
So maybe for the obstacle for to make that IoT project is maybe for the code and the tool that we use an Arduino IDE software that with C language we we use that language to make the code. And maybe for the obstacle is if we get an error, uh, we have to check it from the first line and to the end line.
When I making a Unity game, there's so many channels for me like limit time, wrong code, and wrong asset like the character, wrong animation.
The obstacle is maybe just only the errors and the coding and stuff.
Maybe it's hard for the beginning because the material never learned in the school, and it's a new material that I get from the intern, so I must adapt as quickly, and then in the end, alhamdulillah, it runs smoothly.
If working with other people must be disciplined because when I work, the time not enough.
The challenge is because I'm still in learning stage, and there is a very short time project. Honestly, for me, the challenge when I am I am working on my project is when you get some technology that you actually never learned before, such like JavaScript, Node.js, and actually you must learn it first before you can start the project, just like that.
That I got from making all of that projects here. So the experience that I got is that I can make recreate any kind of games or any kind of those applications using simple engines. Like for example, Undertale was originated in Game Maker Studio. I can recreate it into a simple Scratch desktop engine. And for the Final Fantasy Freddy's, they use Click Team Fusion, but I recreated it in Scratch desktop, which is actually really challenging because those two games with different engines, I recreated into one simple engine that most beginners do. And the second experience is that I can finally manage time and I can finally code faster. And we know that's the main point. And the third experience that I can finally manage on how do bugs happen and how to fix them. That's the experience that I got.
Also, maybe for that IoT, I get that achievement that I can make a watering plant system that he can automatic watering a plant. And what is the achievement for me? So achievement for me is I can be a focus and can resolve a code that maybe not anyone can resolve it. So maybe for make a code, simply I'm gonna manual coding that not like a copy paste like that. I'm gonna manual coding so I can know the code and be a focus to the code.
Okay, I got so many experience from my project, like a video editing or recording. So before I wanna recording, so I must recording. Before I editing, I mean before I editing, I must recording by myself. So that's not easy. So I got a like mental test. So
When I was doing the project is fun, and sometimes there is an error and it made me like angry or something. And I get experience. It's from YouTube and some website with some design or like for example, if you want to design a website, you take an example like Tokopedia, Shopee, like that.
Meet people who are more expert than me, and then the importance of communication, and the very important thing is time management.
When I internship, I got new knowledge from there and add relationship with industry and company.
The experience that I got from doing my project is work as a team, because before I got the project I still work on my own project with my own skill, with my own ability, and of course it's on my own myself, means that working as a client project I work with other people, so I get the experience to work as a team. So the experience is like, hey, your job is doing this, then your job is doing this, my job is doing this, like that. And then I got the adaptation of each work habits too. With working on my intern office, I got the the lesson about how to adaptate in every work habits, because every office, every work environment every workplace is having a different work environment. And I learned about business model too, business model about how business in technology works, like that. For the competition, like I said before, I already participating in some competitions such like hackathon, programming application, UI UX competition, and like that. Some of that, not mostly, but some of that, I I am actually winning some of that, like the UI UX competition that announced by Himfest Venus University, IDN competition for the programming. I actually win some awards on that competition. And for teaching, there is a program in my school that called IDN Mengajar. So that is the moment when we teach other people, especially the teacher. So we teach the teacher about what we learn in this school, and maybe just like that.
Alhamdulillah, I already joined the competition like IT competition in Dinacom 2020 in Central Java.
I took part in a competition at UMY, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, when I was in 10th grade, and IDN sent 2 teams, and Alhamdulillah IDN team won at 3rd place and 2nd place.
Okay. I teach at the Sorako Technical Academy about MTCNA, which is basic of microtik, and then actually the training is for 3 days, but due to the problem, it become 2 days. So I have to shorten the material, which is it's for 3 days to become the 2 days.
When there was IDN teaching event, I got opportunities to teach in Kalimantan. When I was appointed to teach in Kalimantan, I was very happy. And without feeling time, had come to go to Kalimantan. I went there in 3, 2 for teaching in networking, and one person is teaching for programming. While I was there, I lived in one of the participant house, who also invited our school to teach there. The participants there was very enthusiastic about participating in this event. The participant there was mostly employees, but there was also vocational students who attend the event. They are friendly. I even got a chance to see the server room. I teaching in there in 4 days, and on my last day, I take a vacation first, and in the afternoon, I went back to Jakarta, and the three of us are parted and go to our home.
For the process, I have to prepare the material I deliver it to my participant, and I have to trying for teaching in front of my friends.
For the process that I used when I'm teaching in IDN Mengajar, the method that I use is just teach what you learn. So it's simple. I'll just teach people about something that I have ever learned. Like I've ever learned A, B, C, D, and more of that. I'll just need to teach that thing that I already learned to other people.
Learn to be humble and dare to speak up for.
I look to participants there never give up and give fighting. So that's why I to be more give it the best shot me.
I got many impressions here. Thanks to that, I met many acquaintances and got some work. And I did not think my grade 10 knowledge was taught here could be very valuable out there.
I feel happy to be able to share the knowledge I got at IDN with other people who need it.
Impression from me, my skill and my knowledge useful for everyone.